Preview. Today we're going to be looking at Chelsea's hopes to win the Champions League. Now Lucas can't be with us today, so we've got our super sub Sasha with us. But apart from that, it's the same basics with Idris and myself. So we're going to jump right into it and talk about Chelsea. Just a bit background about their current form. For the restart, they've had it's been pretty stable, a bit up and down, losing to West Ham and some questionable teams as such. But apart from that, they finished in the top four this season, so overall positive. There's been some trouble at the back, but the attack has been overall satisfying. So, question for Chelsea going into this is Lampard's team deep enough, or is the team already going to be too tired going into this Champions League?
They already lost the first leg at home, if I'm not mistaken, 3-0 against Bayern. So they find themselves now away from home in Munich against a team that is, I think, much better than them and much more prepared with a much more deep squad that's older. Because Lampard's squad has a lot of potential, but is still pretty young. So for me, it's Bayern all the way.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think Chelsea has the squad depth to overturn the situation. I think the defense has been a problem all season, and it's just not going to get better against a team like Bayern.
Yeah, for sure. The squad not being deep enough. You've got Capo, who's had a terrible season, and Willy Caballero isn't really going to be a great backup for Champions League level. And as you guys said, I don't think you don't take one Chelsea player out of that team to put it in the Bayern team. So, not even looking at the squad depth, just starting 11, it's weak.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of grit and determination to overcome a 3-0 deficit. Not many clubs can do it. You have Barca that did it. You have Liverpool, but those are like two of the best clubs in the world. So I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. So this brings us to the match preview against second leg, then against Bayern. They lost 3-0. Excluding the fact that they should win and come back, what should Chelsea be looking for in this game?
I think they should be looking to continue their momentum. I think they just finished a high on the season by winning against Wolves, which was like one of the most important games of the year. Managed to qualify for Europe. I think they have to keep that momentum and to go into Bayern and just hope out for the best result. It's not we've seen teams in the Champions League, as Sasha said, do comebacks. Even though they're bigger teams than Chelsea, they still have to have some hope and just honestly just play their game and just, even though if it's letting Bayern have the ball, just not letting them have in dangerous positions.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Idris, but maybe Chelsea has always been a very counter-attacking type of team, and definitely capitalize on that and try to find the holes in Bayern's defenses, because they don't have the technical and mental attributes to keep up with Bayern's squad. So what they would be looking for is more like a miracle than a tactical, beating Bayern tactically. It could happen. It's football. Anything can happen. But they would definitely have to really capitalize on every occasion they get.
Yeah. It also seems like this is a good point of reference to see where Chelsea are at right now for Lampard as a coach and all the young players. I don't know, I'm excited to see if Pulisic can still do what he does in the Premier League at a really high level against Bayern. Granted, it's just a game, but it's still going to be interesting to see what players really stand out. Does Mount have the shoulders for such a game, or etc.?
Mount definitely seems like one of those important players that could make the whole difference. But my biggest worry with Mount is he's still very young, and young players have the technique but don't have this experience that's really important in those big
Yeah, he
Champions
doesn't
League
have the
games.
bottle yet to make it.
Yeah. But then you have, I think Olivier Giroud played really well towards the end of this season. As a Frenchman, I don't like him, but I think for his style play could be very important for collecting loose balls up in the defense of Bayern and setting up actions for Pulisic, for Willian, and even for Mount to play as a shadow striker and maybe score some goals, give some assists, and close the gap of goals.
Yeah, I agree. I also think their main point is going to be to stay focused, focus the whole game, especially defense. You can't have Marcus Alonso switching off like he does, like for example against the West Ham, the comeback. I'm sorry, but that was all his fault. You can't have that against big teams like Bayern because they will punish you. And so if they really want to stay in the game and trying to continue going forward, then they have to stay focused and switched on 100% during the whole game.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was going to talk. If you guys had to, keep an eye on one player during this game, who are you gonna look out for and say, all right, I'm gonna watch you all game and sort of surprise me or anything?
Go ahead, Sasha.
Go
ahead.
I would say the most unpredictable might be either Mount or Willian for me in the attack because it's going to be the defense is going to have to be perfect all game, and they don't really matter in this. If they have to play perfect, or their chances of winning drop drastically every time they would take a goal, or the more actions that get pushed onto them. So the defense for Chelsea are going to have to play a very, very well structured game with the wing backs coming up and down and really defending and attacking to play this fluid kind of game. But in the attack, it's going to be about breaking about like little moments of ingenuity. And for me, you could have Mount or Willian that I see, or even Pulisic actually. But yeah, these three players, I really like their style of play, and they could make the whole difference.
Yeah, I think the players to look out for. I agree with Sasha. The attacking players like Pulisic are really important in the dynamic of the game. But I think, as I said, the organization is going to be the most important, and that's why I think the key player is going to be Aspilicueta. As a captain, I really want to, well, not want to see him, but as he really needs to try and keep his defensive line solid, in line also, not to fall for the offsides and offsides, and also go forward and lead the team on the wings. So I think if he does what he usually does, then they can score a couple of goals, but he'll just have to motivate the team to all be focused and all to do it all together.
Yeah, and I think also a point we haven't really touched on is that midfield with, of course, Kante's out. I think he decided not to play the rest of the season. So you've got what's looking like Kovacic, Jorginho in that midfield. I'll be interested. I think Kovacic has the level to play this sort of game. I won't be surprised if he comes out with a big game. I think it will be Jorginho, who I don't know if it's been sort of a flop since he's been at Chelsea. I don't know, it's maybe a bit harsh, but I think we need to see a big game from him if Chelsea even want to get everything, because he for sure is going to dictate at what pace Chelsea's going to play at, getting those balls from our back. But then again, it's weird to see who Lampard's going to put on the field, because you still got Pedro on the bench. Is Abraham going to start? You're going to put Tomori back in defense. There's still a lot of question marks about what's really going to happen. So brings us to our predictions. Do you guys think Chelsea are going to overthrow it? And if they do, where do you think they'll go in the Champions League?
You wanna start, Idris?
You can. It's fine. So, all right. So I think honestly, they're gonna grab a couple goals back in Munich, but I still think it's not gonna be enough because I think Chelsea will score two, and Bayern will score at least one. So I just don't think it's gonna be enough. And even if it by luck it is enough, then they go on to either Barcelona or Napoli, or City or Juventus on the other side, or Real Madrid, and I just don't see them going to the final anytime soon.
Um, I agree with Idris on this one. Ever since Bayern has came back from the coronavirus stop of football, they've been scoring a lot of goals. They've also been conceding quite a lot of goals as well, but every game they're scoring three, four, five goals. Against Frankfurt, they scored five. Against Leverkusen, I think they scored four. So they really have this attacking straight to the goal mentality, and they have been conceding a lot. So I am gonna think I agree with Idris on the fact that she are definitely gonna push forward. So they might get one or two goals, but I just think that even if they score two, they would mobilize forward so much that that would give Bayern a lot of space to attack like the way they like to do, and so they would also concede some goals. I just don't see it happening. Maybe like
Yeah.
a 3-1 for Bayern would be my prediction.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at that defense and how shaky it's been in the Prem, I can't believe it getting miraculously better. I mean, maybe on a one-off game, who knows? But this Bayern side, yeah, I agree with you guys. Seems way too strong for Chelsea here, and they'll need a miracle, really. Maybe Giroud grabs a quick goal and Bayern could flip, but yeah, I don't see it happening. So yeah, I'd predict maybe like a 2-0 Bayern win, nothing
Yeah.
dramatic. But that
And
would be.
and I think it also all depends on how Bayern approach the game themselves. They're definitely mentally the stronger team, but if they don't come prepared, like we've seen it with Paris and Barcelona, where no one believed that Barcelona could do it, and yet Paris just PSG just didn't concentrate since they knew they had this 4-0 lead, and then you find yourselves with a 6-1 Barca and you don't understand what happened. So we'll see.
Yeah,
It's still football.
it'd be very funny to see that happen, that's for sure. But we wouldn't hear the end of it. But but yeah, all right. So that's been our preview of Chelsea, and we'll see you tomorrow.